Abstaining from sex has taught me blank. This is part two to the Sexless Tribe social media post that I thought was really interesting. Let's get into some of these things that people mention. Welcome everyone back to Living Purified. My name is Debbie and this is my online journal to living a purified life for Jesus Christ for my mind, body, and spirit. And this is actually part two. If you haven't watched part one of Abstaining from Sex has taught me blank, go ahead and go check that out. But I'm picking it back up about a true connection. Anyone can have sex, but take that away and what are you left with? And I've actually dealt with that before, where the moment you tell someone, let's say you were active and then you realize, like, Holy Spirit, you're really taking your walk with God a lot more seriously. I've heard and I've been experienced where someone's like, if we don't have sex, if we don't, or we're not intimate, then what's the point? I don't get it. So I know exactly what that is because I've actually experienced that. So Lady said to value myself and that my body is sacred. Mixed said that I'm a very strong person and I know my worth. Dawson said how to be intentional with growing closer to God. Let me tell you how, when you decide to do this, it's beyond just your body. It really does create another level of spiritual maturity that takes place in order to even do this. And being intentional about growing closer to God, I feel like, is the only way that this works. Now, going to Reg, he says it taught self-control, patience, and how to focus. So Nearly says it taught me to think twice and thoroughly before giving my most vulnerable and naked self to someone that will be significant. To seek for deeper connection beyond physicality, the sex is great, but that in a safe, committed place can be tastefully better. And one of the things that we're dealing with culture now is like, sex don't mean nothing. Just have sex. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But when you actually, the way God created it, if you go back into Genesis, it was supposed to be one man, one woman. This was going to be your person that you were going to do it with. And it was a naked and unashamed experience. Another person said that I can do anything I put my mind to. Yes, it will give you another sense of willpower. I completely agree. Logan says abstaining from sex has taught me that I'm stronger than I think. Kay says that a lot of people are just in lust, not in love, and that the partner doesn't have anything else to offer you but sex. That is so true. If we don't get to do this, because one thing I could say is I've had situations where arguments will pop up and it's so easy to just be physical and just, oh yeah, whatever, or even overlook red flags, overlook certain things because you're physical, because you're having sex. The sex may be great, maybe it's not, who knows, but it keeps you trapped. It keeps you realizing that a lot of people, that is what they offer. And they're like, look, I could lay it down. I could do these things to you. But what else? Another person said, fearfully says, it taught me self-control. Lying on God more and asking him for directions and who he wants for my body alone. Love says what it really means to love and value yourself. Alexandria says that pursuing purity means far more than abstaining from sex. This is what I keep talking about. It has revealed coping mechanisms, and I was practicing, and it enabled me to replace with coping with healing. Leash says that it's not fully by flesh alone, but by his Holy Spirit, he will sustain you. And when I try to do it on my own strength and in my own, I might fail. It's a constant decision that gets easier and easier the more that I truly place Christ first. This is such a great comment right here, because our flesh does want what it wants, and it is a constant decision. And that means in the word, there is picking up your cross daily. This is a cross. This is one of those crosses that Christ is talking about. Pick up that cross. If you want to follow me, it's not for the weak. It's not for the people that just want to live life however they want to live. It's a daily sacrifice. And so this is so good. And then Peace says, self-control, knowing my worth, discipline, honoring God more. I know it's well worth the wait for the right one. The other thing is, the more you honor God, the more revelation and truth God will open your eyes to. And this is so true. One of the things I've learned as I've really pursued this journey is God has been able to speak to me and shown me things, visions and dreams and revelations and discernment on a whole nother level that I did not have before. Courage says, without sex being a factor when courting, it exposes people's hearts. It makes you humbly disconnect. One of the best things I learned was you can walk away disappointed and not devastated. And it really does allow you to walk away without much damage being done. And every time that I've slept with someone and that was the case, it's never been an easy, clean break, because it was never meant to be an easy, clean break. Now, some people say, oh, I could have sex with somebody, I'm done with it. That's not who I'm talking about. And even then, you're still exchanging spirits. You're still exchanging so much more than just a one night person or a couple of nights, an ex or whatever it is. Me says, how to lean on God for self-control and release my self-indulgence. Another person said that my value is not dependent on men wanting to have sex with me, but from God and His grace. Let me say this, as a woman, and even as a man, we have certain stereotypes. Men, get as many as women as you can. Sow your royal roads. There's so many sick, really toxic things that we're telling young guys, young boys. Oh, you need to kiss her. Oh, you need to do these things. And then as a woman, you need to be sexy. You need to be attractive. You need to be these things. And that's where you believe your value is from, is what can you do? Oh, you're still a virgin? You suck. Like, you get teased. You're told that all these different things. So then you become, okay, am I valuable? So does that mean I need to do these things? But your value comes from God, you being God's child. T says, abstaining from sex has prevented me from dating any man that says I like you and shows interest. And when sex is off the table, they're not so interested. So this is what it does is it exposes people's true intentions with you. Because if it becomes a what can I get from you versus what can I give to you. And that's one thing I've learned. M said, the source of loneliness and desire for more emotional intimacy. Sal says, how to trust only in God and not in my own ability to go without or think that I can handle certain situations. This is so important because while God doesn't tempt us, if we get into tempting situations, He does provide a way out. There is a way out, and you do have to trust in Him. You do have to pray. You also have to have people in your life that will hold you accountable. You think that you can handle situations, and you really have to know your triggers. You have to know what gets you off. And certain people, okay, that works for me, that doesn't work for me. You have to know it. Nas says self-love, self-empowerment, and has given me a clear mind, giving me time to work through my traumas. Apple says, abstinence taught me to be patient, to prioritize God and self-control. C says that sexual immorality is not something that brings you comfort. It destroys you even more. And then K says, strength, self-control, self-value, and most importantly, how it facilitates closeness to God. Tell me what your favorite lesson was out of all these different lessons. I love this because it shows that you're not the only one down this journey, but reading this message and this post really did even encourage me and reminded me of all the different lessons that I've learned over the different years of waiting. And so make sure that you share this with someone. Make sure you come back to this and think about all of the different things that you gained from this experience. But thank you so much for listening to Living Purified. I will talk to you next time. Bye.